This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.
Thanks for joining us on the program. On the Phuket News Hour today, the use of unsuspecting airline travellers who are wrapped in a web of deceit that are being arrested at Asian airports as drug mules. A compelling story on the way here on the program. Announcements from Virgin Australia that they'll be cancelling their Perth-Phuket flights from February 2016. Mount Ryung still erupting there in Bali. Denpasar Airport now disrupted again, more flights delayed. And George Cole, the legendary actor from the Minder television series, a tribute to him. This is the Phuket News Hour. Don't forget that the latest edition of the Phuket newspaper is out now, the best 20 baht that you can spend. Get a copy too of the Russian language newspaper, Novosti Phuket, or if you like reading a bit of Russian. This program brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. The News Hour, local, national and international news to keep you up to date with what's happening in your world today. Lots of news on the way. Stay tuned here to Live 89.5, the Phuket News Hour.
The news you need to know. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
Looking at some of the stories making news in the region, the Daily Telegraph is reporting from Australia that flights in and out of Bali have been cancelled as volcanic ash continues to spew from the Mount Ryung volcano. Now, this is leaving travellers certainly delayed, and that these delays may extend through to the weekend. Jetstar and Virgin Australia have said that they're monitoring the situation and will continue to keep customers updated on any new information as it comes to hand. Now, this Mount Ryung volcano has caused chaos for travellers since it began spewing ash in early July. It's still erupting at a height of 20,000 feet. Interesting that Jetstar and Virgin Australia decided to cancel their flights periodically, but in many cases AirAsia and also Garuda Airlines continued to fly. Many passengers paid large sums to transfer from the cancelled flights of Jetstar and Virgin Australia to then fly with AirAsia and with Garuda because they had work commitments, had to get their kids back to school. In other news today, Virgin Australia has announced that from February of 2016 it will cancel its Perth to Phuket flights, and it's also cancelling other flights from Australia to Bali. Virgin Australia has suffered losses in their financial year, but it also, I think, has an effect because of the fly-in, fly-out mining operations in Western Australia. There are a number of people that visit the island of Phuket that work in the mining industry, and because of the downturn in the Australian mining exports industry, iron ore, etc., this is leading now to cutbacks, and as a result, people aren't flying in and out of Phuket and Bali and other Asian holiday destinations. Many men and women in the fly-in, fly-out business now can't afford to travel. This is going to have an effect on the tourism dollar and also the economic dollar of locations such as Bali and also Phuket. We'll keep you up to date with that, but just repeating, Virgin Australia will be cancelling their Perth-Phuket flights from February 2016. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Missed something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programs posted daily on the phuketnews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
Returning to the MH370 story, as we know, the French authorities have confirmed, as has the Malaysian Prime Minister, that the piece of aircraft wing, a flaperon that only comes from a 777 Boeing aircraft, was discovered at Le Réunion Island, and now the search area, because of these wave currents that they're considering, that more debris may be in surrounding islands. Let's cross to CNN, who are on board a search aircraft off the coast of Mauritius.
These Coast Guardsmen know the odds are against them. After all, they don't even quite know what they're looking for. Their mission? Find anything that resembles plane debris.
It is very difficult to undertake a search for a small object from the air.
Up here you get the idea, there's a lot to search. The water is vast and the coast expansive.
We're really hugging the coastline, flying very slowly to help with that visual search.
The team scans the crystal blue waters off Mauritius, just over 100 miles from where they found the MH370 flaperon.
We are hopeful because there has been the reports
they're on the lookout for anything white or shiny, anything roughly the flaperon size that a radar might miss.
Right, we just need to look at an object which is UFC.
Did you spot something?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, they spot something. The captain just told me that they've seen a white object on the waters, but they can't find it again. So they called it into the operations room to send out a boat to investigate.
Another look around, and still no signs of the object. The captain veers the plane back to base. With a glimmer of hope, there's something out there. More clues to solving this mystery.
That's Erin McLaughlin from CNN. And the Malaysian Transport Minister has announced that other items have been found at Le Réunion without confirmation from the French investigative authorities, allegedly part of a plane window and possibly some plane cushions or some aluminium. There needs to be continued aerial search and certainly on the ground, on the coastlines of the surrounding islands off the West African coast. We'll keep you up to date with the BBC News on the Hour and also from the Phuket News Centre as more news comes to hand. This is the Phuket News Hour. More news on the way.
Miss something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programmes posted daily on the PhuketNews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
The Kids Club Phuket are the proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour. Do you know they're open all this weekend? And what a great place. Even with the rain coming to tumble down, get down to the Kids Club Phuket. Why? The kids are going to be having the best fun, 800 square metres of so much entertainment, on-site nannies well trained to look after your kids while you pop across the road to Jung Salong, grab a coffee, have a kid-free lunch with hubby, do whatever you feel like doing while the kids are having the best time at the Kids Club Phuket. Opposite Jung Salong in the Promenade Mall, second floor, there is underground parking, so even if it is raining really heavily, get down to the Kids Club Phuket. Go to thekidsclubphuket.com or facebook.com, The Kids Club Phuket. Breaking news, they have the best party supplies on the island. Check out the Kids Club Phuket, TKC Party Supplies there on Facebook. The Kids Club Phuket, proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour.
Your daily news fix, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
Many of you have heard about the terrible West African Nigerian scammers that get onto the internet and prey on people that really have this dream of untold riches and a bank deposit in your favour. Take it a step further and imagine that people that have been entwined in that web of criminal behaviour are then duped to become drug mules and arrested at international airports in Asia. It happened to an 83-year-old socialite from New York City. She has become one of the world's oldest drug couriers, and she was completely unaware of what had happened. This report from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, I will post on facebook.com, Phuket Live Radio. Watch it, because you think it can't happen to you. Well, so many of these people in this story thought it could never happen to them. Here is Elizabeth Kummerfeld, 83 years old, arrested at Hong Kong airport.
It's a story being repeated across Asia.
I was getting into the plane to go to Australia, and I was stopped. And customs said, "Are those your luggage?" And they immediately went into knapsack and opened it, and comes a sack of white things that look like sugar.
2 months before Donald Clay's arrest, an elderly New York socialite was caught at Hong Kong airport with 2 kilograms of the drug ice in the lining of a backpack destined for Australia.
I didn't touch it, and I didn't even know what ice was. To me, ice was something you put in a Coca-Cola to drink it.
At 83 years old and legally blind, Elizabeth Kummerfeld is one of the world's oldest drug smugglers and one of the most connected.
And this is a picture of the founder of American Foundation for AIDS Research, Elizabeth Taylor.
A former United Nations advisor and wealthy philanthropist who raised hundreds of millions of dollars for AIDS research with Elizabeth Taylor, Elizabeth Kummerfeld fell from grace over her involvement in a fraud. Her husband was a deputy mayor of New York and the head of Rupert Murdoch's American media empire.
So I was 100% innocent. I was not aware of the fact the knapsack contained dangerous chemical. You understand? I have to make it very clear.
Under questioning by Hong Kong Customs, Elizabeth Kummerfeld revealed she'd lost her vast life savings to West African email scams just like Donald Clay, but her con was tailored to her philanthropy.
And I lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. My husband and I thought we were helping refugee children. They paid for the whole, travel. They sent us money.
Do you feel suspicious when you need to deliver this kind of birthday gift to Desmond?
I thought it was kind of strange, but you never know what you do with the African bankers. They do some weird things, so
you don't know
the jungle rules are different.
Elizabeth Kummerfeld returned home this year penniless. After a year in jail, her charges were dropped when an investigation by Hong Kong Customs found she was a victim of organised crime groups from West Africa exploiting vulnerable Westerners to feed Australia's ravenous demand for ice.
That report by Sean Rubenstein Dunlop from the ABC 7:30 report. I will post that story. Please watch it. It's a 13-minute video showing how unsuspecting people have become involved in a trap, in a web, and with these West African scammers, one thing to take your money, but then they dupe you into, we can get you your money back, but you just need to go from here to here to here. An extraordinary story, and the whole movement of drugs around Asia into places like Australia is on the rise. We're going to keep following that story here on the Phuket News Hour. Please watch that video. Post it on facebook.com, the Phuket News, facebook.com, Phuket Live Radio. More news on the way.
The stuff you need to know. 60 minutes of news on the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
Sad news from the United Kingdom and those fans of the television series Minder. Actor George Cole, best known for playing used car salesman Arthur Daly, has died aged 90. The British star's career spanned 70 years and also included the role of Flash Harry in the early Centrinians films. Cole died in hospital with his family at his side, according to his agent Derek Webster, who also represents his Minder co-star Dennis Waterman. Sky News with this report.
George Cole became a household name for playing Arthur Daly, the roguish wheeler dealer prepared to do anything for profit, even if it meant bending the letter of the law. At its peak, Minder pulled in as many as 16 million viewers, and expressions like "the world is your lobster," "nice little earner," and "her indoors" became part of the lexicon.
Just people who can't get credit with kosher turf accountants. And people who do not like paying tax. Who does, Arthur?
His co-star Dennis Waterman, who played Arthur's bodyguard and sidekick Terry McCann, paid tribute to his colleague. "I'm so grateful to have been a friend of this wonderful man. We worked together for many years, and my boast is that we laughed all day, every day. He was an amazing man, a wonderful actor, and besotted with his family."
You reflect on Minder, which ran for 107 episodes from 1979 to 1994, brought the criminal underworld of West London to millions of homes in the UK. And those words from Dennis Waterman. Waterman played Terry McCann, the long-suffering Minder of the man himself, and of course, George Cole, dead at age 90. Sad news from the United Kingdom. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Today's important stories and the island's best music. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
That's it for the Phuket News Hour for the day and also for the week. Make sure you get your copy of the Phuket newspaper. The latest edition is out now. The best 20 baht you can spend. And the Russian language newspaper for those that like a little bit Russian, 40 baht. Best Russian language newspaper you can read. The Phuket News Hour produced and presented by Tim Shaw using the resources of the BBC, the ABC, CNN, Voice of America, the Phuket News Centre and the World Wide Web. Don't forget 11 a.m. through till midday Monday to Friday, and the catch-up program Tuesday through to Saturday, 6 a.m. in the morning. You can listen to the YouTube broadcasts of the highlights. Go to PhuketLiveRadio.com. Have a terrific remainder of the day, a great weekend, and I look forward to you joining me here on the Phuket News Hour, where we make sure you get kept up to date with everything you need to know, locally, nationally, and from around the world. The Phuket News Hour, brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.